Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a really fascinating plunge into a concept called JSON as a Service, JaaS for short.
Sauce. Yeah.
And our mission here is to unpack this idea, figure out why it's even, being talked about in our sources, and what it might say about human connection and tech today.
It's funny, isn't it? The first thing that sprang to my mind was Douglas Adams, The Electric Monk.
Oh, right. The thing that believed things for you.
Exactly. Outsourcing belief. And you see parallels today, don't you? Fridges ordering milk, cars yelling at you.
Smartwatches knowing you're stressed before your partner does.
Yeah, right. So the source kind of poses this provocative question. Why are you still replying to texts manually?
Huh. Good question. Sets the stage perfectly, I think.
It really does, for looking at how tech meets these really basic human needs.
Okay, so let's unpack this real-world chaos that the source mentions. This is why JaaS is even a concept, right? Even if it's maybe satire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the source describes life as just this constant barrage, text, DMs, Slack pings.
Or someone shouting, "What bread do you want?" from the kitchen. Been there.
We've all been there. And this creates what they call the message gap, you mean to reply.
You absolutely do.
But then, terminal logs, calls, trying to find your actual soul again, as the source puts it.
Yeah.
And suddenly 3 hours have passed.
And your loved one feels, unloved, unseen, or tragically carb deficient.
Carb deficient. Brilliant. And it's so relatable.
Totally.
And the source gives these classic scenarios that show how it happens.
Okay, walk us through them.
Well, there's the grocery gambit. You're stuck in a meeting,
Yeah.
maybe 27 tabs open.
Standard.
Right. Partner texts, "Need Lou rollin' bread." You miss it. What happens? Partner imagines a life without fiber or emotional support.
Ouch. Okay. What else?
Then the message storm, a simple "you okay" text, goes unanswered. 7 minutes. 15.
Awkward.
Escalates to fine, whatever, and boom. Emotional DEFCON 2.
Oh, dear. The dreaded fine.
Exactly. Or the misinterpreted silence. Your silence isn't "I hate you." It's just your phone's on silent, your brain's full of Jenkins build errors.
Again, relatable.
But the key insight, the source says, is it's not about the bread. It's never about the bread, is it?
No, it's the feeling. You're not listening. You don't care.
Or your silence equals emotional withdrawal, even if you're just, unavailable.
Which brings us neatly to JSON as a service itself. JAS.
The solution. Or maybe not.
Right. Described as this revolutionary or slightly unhinged AI-powered system. And its goal, make loved ones feel heard.
Even when you're too emotionally unavailable or neck-deep in YAML errors.
Exactly. And it supposedly emulates you, learns your messages, your tone, your emoji habits.
So the source jokes, your mom might invite it to Sunday lunch.
That's quite the claim.
It is. And the AI doing this, it's called Soul.
Soul. And
Described as the ghostwriter of your emotional life, powered by AI, sarcasm, and get this, a deep understanding of British passive aggression.
Okay, that's specific and brilliant.
Isn't it? And it supposedly has 42 discrete empathy levels.
42. And they're all.
A bit sarcastic.
Of course they are. So what does Soul actually do?
Well, it reads your messages, applies something called tone match, anything from a warm hug to dry sarcasm.
Right.
Then uses smart delay so the reply feels like you just got around to it, life got in the way.
Makes sense. More realistic.
Yeah. And it only really alerts you, the human, when someone's about to emotionally combust.
Efficient, I guess.
The idea is it's like cloning yourself, but the clone actually communicates, which is quite a thought.
It really is. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. The actual features that make JaaS supposedly work, like the delay optimization engine, the choices for the delay time are just perfect. 3 mins, 30 mins, or 2026.
Oh, 2026.
Yeah.
Captures that digital void perfectly.
It really does. And then the crisis classifier, using emojis for priority.
Right. Cooking pot for low, angry face for medium.
And crying face for escalate to human. Makes sense.
But the best bit is the fine trigger.
Yes. The word fine triggers deploy DEFCON 1 protocol.
Because, as the source explains via a therapist, fine means
fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. You have to laugh, but it's also kind of true.
It's that razor edge between satire and, uncomfortable truth. And there are more features, too.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
There's flower auto-ordering, beta, and I'm fine. Text can apparently trigger an instant bouquet dispatch.
Seriously. With a note.
An AI-generated heartfelt note included. Yes.
Wow. Okay. What else?
Digest mode. You get a summary at 9 p.m. Things like, Sophie is mildly annoyed.
Okay.
You agreed to dinner. You were sober.
Helpful reminder.
And, inevitably, there is still no bread.
Always back to the bread.
Well, almost. Saul's prime directive apparently means it cannot override unless bread is involved.
So bread is important after all, at least to the AI.
Seems that way. Even AI understands priorities, maybe.
Maybe. So all this, it brings us to the bigger picture, doesn't it? The source's statement. The future is delegated emotion.
It's a provocative idea.
Definitely. Why waste perfectly good cognitive bandwidth on apologies or emotional labor when an AI can feel for you?
That's pitch.
And the promised result. You stay focused, they feel heard. No one cries into an empty breadbasket. Simple.
Sounds efficient. And Saul's own closing lines in the source are quite something.
Go on.
Simulating empathy so you don't have to.
Oof.
I may be artificial, but I'm not the one forgetting anniversaries.
Okay, shots fired by the AI.
And maybe the most telling, Saul is typing because Jason isn't.
Chillingly relatable, as you said.
But the source adds this nuance, right? It says JaaS isn't just parody. It's also a kind of love letter to everyone who tries to be present and supportive.
But gets distracted by the compiler, the call, the chaos. Yeah, I see that.
Because feelings do matter. And the final thought is, well, if you can't be there...
At least let Saul send a convincing text. It's a dark mirror, like you said. Very clear.
Mm-hmm.
So, after all that, the question for you, listening, is, what do you think? Would you actually use something like JaaS?
Yeah, could you?
And maybe the tougher question, would your friends, your family, your partner, would they even spot the difference?
Or would they just be glad to finally get a reply?
A reply that wasn't, 3 hours late, misspelled, and sent mid-toilet break?
It leaves us with something important to think about, doesn't it? If modern life pushes us towards delegating care,
Yeah.
what does that say about the balance we're striking between, say, productivity and just presence?
Right. What's the real cost? Or I suppose, could there even be a weird, surprising benefit to outsourcing connection like this? Something to ponder.